UFC flyweight Tyson Nam. What's going on, Tyson? How's life right now? You look like it's sunny and beautiful outside.
Living a beautiful life out here in Hawaii. We got COVID, we got riots and looting out there in the world, and I just came from the beach.
Is is Hawaii affected by that? By the rioting and the looting?
Well, I do not know of any rioting or looting, but I know that there have been marches and protests, but it's been pretty peaceful. I'm pretty sure that the people of Hawaii do not want any rioting or looting. I think we wanna make sure that we're putting a stop to all of that type of violence.
Yeah, definitely, man. I feel like you should be able to protest and march and express
Hmm.
yourself, but man, that looting is just it's getting out of control. It's sad for all the people and the business owners, but Hawaii seems like they have it under control, man. There's a lot of local business
Um,
owners out there.
yeah, I mean they're trying, and on top of social media, they heard that some people are gonna come over and try to start something up, and I think there's a lot of folks out over here making sure that we kept the eyes aware that if people did start that they'll be dealt with in a Hawaiian way.
Yeah, yeah. The OG's got to come out
Yeah,
and handle it, right?
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, now with all of that going on and the coronavirus, how has that affected your life in the past couple of months?
Well, I mean, got put out of work. Not a biggie because actually, instead of working, I actually get to train full time. Now, I've never really done that in any portion of my mixed martial arts career, just training full time. So I feel even in better shape. I feel even better prepared for this because I was still able to get the same type of training that I was able to do, but I was able to get better rest, recovery, just because I didn't have to go to a job.
Yeah, well, the rest and recovery, it seems like that has become a science in itself, and maybe that will be the X factor for you going into this fight.
Probably. I mean, I ain't getting any younger, so I think my body does need a little bit more rest and recovery than most folks. But I definitely feel even more prepared now than I've ever been in any other fight.
Yeah, that's unique to say because you fought so many times in the past. You have a long career so far, and it's uh it's kind of like you could say it's another level of yourself, right? Being able to have that.
Yeah, I guess it took a whole pandemic for me to get
Mhm.
fired, laid off, and just train full time because I always felt like I always had energy to do something in between. But in actuality, we are professional athletes, and rest and recovery leading into your evening practice, coming off of your morning practice is key and vital to being able to keep on progressing and pushing your body harder and harder every day.
Definitely. Now, with all of this going on, also like I saw a fighter post something about USADA and how they were sending home kits, like you do the testing yourself. Have you experienced that?
No, no, I have not. I have not. If they want me to swab something or show them my tongue, it's all good. But yeah, I've not experienced any phone calls from USADA telling me that I have to do something with myself just yet. Probably will get a call tomorrow morning just because I said that.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. Knock on wood, man. Now, another big topic that's going on right now, and I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, is the MMA judging that's going on. Not just in the U.S. but just everywhere around the world, all promotions. A lot of people say don't leave it up to the judges, but come on, man, at the highest level, it's gonna go to the judges more than not. So, what do you think about the system that they have right now, and maybe anything they can do to fix that?
Yeah, it's not good right now, especially when half of someone's paycheck is on top of the line, and for those top tier guys making like 50 and 50, 100 and 100. I mean, shit, you miss out on half of that. That's probably like a year's salary for most folks, and they would be almost like, heartbroken just because of people that don't necessarily know all the rules, don't know all the techniques. Had a few photos of judges looking at their phone when they should have been looking at the fight. So I mean, there definitely should be a little bit more that goes into licensing judges when tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars is on the line, not necessarily theirs, but for somebody else like myself or any other fighter in the UFC. If we're missing out on half our paycheck, then that's food for our family. That's a ranking next to our name, and a couple fights down the line that may mean a title shot, and that means the world to us. So, since everybody else gets put through a gauntlet of tests to get licensed, I mean, judging should be the same thing as well.
Half the paycheck, that could be your home. You could buy a home with it. You know what I mean? Like some homes cost 20,000, 30,000. You know what I mean? That could be, man. It's a life changer.
Yeah, definitely not here in Hawaii, but somewhere in the world.
Yeah. Now with your first two fights in the UFC, you fought in Mexico, you fought in New Zealand. Now you actually get to fight in Vegas. Does that change anything for you? Does it make a difference?
Nah, by the time that I walk into the cage, it's pretty much the light shut off for me already. So I'm doing the same exact thing. I barely hear the fans. I barely even hear my coaches at that point. So it's not gonna be anything new. I mean, yeah, different location. Like about 5-6 hour trip for me. So that's probably the biggest thing, is just the travel time cut down to about a third of the time, and just the sitting down portion of the trip is what just kills everybody's just joints, the swelling that goes on. I mean, you get off of the plane, you thought you was within about 10 pounds, and all of a sudden you're 16 pounds over. It kind of plays a little bit of a mental game on top of you, but yeah, fighting on the West Coast is definitely a big positive for me, that I don't have to travel as far.
With the coaches, you say you barely hear your coaches. This time around, you're gonna be able to hear your coaches. Yeah. You're gonna be able to hear the other coaches. You're gonna be able to hear the commentators. Is that gonna be a benefit? It seems like it has benefited a few fighters in the past.
When you practice and when you're training, you're not training with a big audience, so you can hear them very well. So I feel like with now, it'll actually feel more like a training session than it would with a big fight with tens and hundreds of thousands of people at an arena. So I feel, well, I never know until I start walking out there, but I feel like it's going to be a little bit less nerve-wracking, a little bit less anxiousness, and it's just going to be all business, like it's an everyday thing for me.
Do you feed off the crowd? Some fighters in the fight, they might be down and hurt, but then when they hear the crowd go crazy, it kind of gives them that extra kick. Do you even feel that in the cage, or is it, it doesn't matter to you?
Yeah, like I said, by the first time that the first punch is thrown, I mean, even before the first punch is thrown, everything kind of blacks out. I don't even know whether it's cheers or boos that's coming up. So I mean, I hear a little faint thing of noise on top of this side of my head, and then on top of this side of my head. But I pretty much just try. I mean, it pretty much just blocks itself out by the time we step up in the cage.
Yeah, I guess it's just called the zone, like MJ used to get in the zone.
Yeah, so. In the zone, ready to do battle.
Yeah. Your first two fights in the UFC, are there any things you can take away from those clashes that will guide you to victory in this one?
I've been working on a lot of new things, new strategies. Like I said, I've had a lot more time to prepare for this fight just because not working anymore. So I feel like you guys will see a new and improved Tyson Nam come June 13th.
All right, your opponent, Ryan Benoit, watching him on tape, you said you got a lot more time. Most likely, you're gonna be watching him. What sticks out about him?
Um, he hits hard, I mean, he's good all the way around. He's a good wrestler, good scrambler, grappler. His striking's on point. Um, but but I really like the style to where we're gonna be clashing heads. We're gonna be butting heads. It's gonna be like a little mini car crash coming together because he doesn't like to go backwards. I don't like to go backwards. He likes striking. I like striking. It's gonna be a back and forth battle with a lot of punches, kicks, knees. We're probably both looking to take each other's head off. So don't blink. Don't blink.
Yeah, Ryan, when you watch his fights, he's down to scramble, he's down to strike, he's down to engage. Your first two opponents in the UFC, they're down to do that, but they're more cautious. Do you feel like Ryan is a risk taker more than, like compared to Kai or Sergio?
Well, he better be. I mean, I'm coming off of two losses. He's coming off of two losses. I feel like we're both fighting for pink slips on top of this one. So it's gonna be heavy duty. We're gonna be going for broke on top of this.
Definitely. Now, this week or the week coming, fight week, right? It's not going to be normal. What has been the craziest thing in the past that you went through during a fight week?
Traveling to Russia, St. Petersburg to be exact. I want to say that the promotion planned it very well to the day that I arrived there, I set foot. I had to start cutting weight because I got there literally like less than 24 hours to make weight. Now, when I stepped off of the plane, like I said, I felt like I was within like 10 pounds. And, I jump up on top of the scale next to the sauna when we're about to start cutting weight. It says I'm 16 pounds over. Now, 16 pounds for a flyweight, that's more than 10%. That's well more than 10%. And if you study a little bit of science, 10% of water weight, when you lose that, is when your kidneys start to shut down. So I pretty much put myself on death's door, making weight on top of that. So 16 pounds in, I want to say about 11 or 12 hours that I had to do it. I made it, but barely made it. And, I want to say that cutting weight is probably always the most traumatic thing that us fighters have to go through during fight week. Because, it's not a normal thing. There's no job out there that you got to step on a scale before you go to work. So it's definitely something that is very particular in our line of occupation.
There's no doubt about that, but it seems like in Vegas they have everything set up perfectly for the fighters. Like I feel like I heard one of the fighters talking about the training room is the room next door to your room, so everybody's isolated. There's not going to be any problems, so that's great for you, man. You don't have to worry about all that stuff and landing.
Yeah,
and,
I heard
and cutting weight right away.
from a bunch of guys. I've heard from a bunch of guys that's what it's gonna be in. Yeah, I like to be a little bit of a hermit during fight week just because the slightest things that always agitates anybody whenever you don't get to drink your soda or have your candy bar or just eat till you're full type of thing. So you want to kind of be off on top of your own, just doing your own little thing without anybody chirping off in the background. Might set something off.
Do you plan out your meal after weigh-ins every fight, or is it just the same thing, or what is the protocol for that for yourself?
Well, the company Trifecta has been gracious enough to supply us with food during fight week to help us lose weight, and they also supply us with rehydration and food to refuel after weight. After making weight. So big shout out to Trifecta. I mean, their meals are great. I mean, they even have meals, ready-made meals for your average Joe to order off the line as well too. But I mean, that was the biggest thing. I was able to use them for the first time in New Zealand. Yeah, New Zealand. New Zealand, they were there, and man, it made everything so much easier. So, I mean, I'll eat that and anything else my heart desires.
All right. Well, June 13th, man, you're back in the cage against Ryan Benoit, and in Vegas, it's gonna be like you said, it's gonna be a mini car crash, and everybody's gonna be
Yeah,
watching.
yeah. Tune in, guys. Do not miss out.
Thank you so much, Tyson, for the time, and good luck on the fight, and good luck on everything that's going on in your life outside of fighting.
All right. Thanks a lot, brother.